When you're depleted, you likely have thoughts like, I should be able to handle this, everyone else manages better, or I'm being selfish if I stop. There's this wonderful technique called cognitive diffusion. So, when these thoughts appear, try adding the phrase, I'm having the thought that before them. For instance, I'm having the thought that I should be able to handle this, or I'm having the thought that I'm being selfish. This small shift creates distance between you and the thought because you're not arguing with your thought. You're not trying to replace it. You're simply recognizing it as a thought, but not a fact. Then there's this thing called values based action. It means making choices based on what matters most to you rather than just responding to demands. When you're drowning in emotional labor, every decision feels urgent and necessary. Values practice is to identify your top three values, for example, creativity or physical health or meaningful work. When facing a decision about where to spend your energy, ask, does this align with my values or am I responding to guilt or others' expectations? These all are techniques from acceptance and commitment therapy. What is important? You are learning to distinguish between what truly matters and what you are doing on autopilot. DBT gave us distress tolerance and emotion regulation skills. My favorite skill is called TIP, TIPP, and it helps with immediate nervous system regulation. T stands for temperature. Cold water on your face, holding ice triggers your nervous system. Keep ice packs in your freezer for moments of high distress. Then I stands for intense exercise. Brief, intense movement, like 30 seconds. Running upstairs, maybe dancing or moving yourself, and can discharge the physical activation of stress. Phase breathing. Slow your exhale to be longer than your inhale. Try breathing in for 4 counts, holding for 4, out for 6. Then PNTIP stands for progressive muscle relaxation. Tense and release muscle groups systematically, like this, to discharge tension. Opposite action. When you have an urge to do something which is driven by depletion, like scroll for 2 hours or drink a bottle of wine, try the opposite of what the emotion urges. If the urge is to isolate, the opposite action might be calling a friend or taking a short walk. If the urge is to numb with food, the opposite action might be naming what you're actually feeling. Schema therapy teaches us to recognize and meet our needs. It helps to identify deep patterns developed in childhood that might be driving your depletion cycles. Many women operate from schemas like self sacrifice schema, which is my needs don't matter as much as others' needs, then unrelenting standard schema, I must be perfect and never show weakness, and then approval seeking schema, I need others to validate my worth. So, schema work involves, first of all, identifying your schemas. When you notice yourself pushing past your limits, ask, what belief is driving this? What would it mean about me if I stopped? Then another technique is called limited reparenting. This means learning to meet your own needs the way a good parent would meet a child's needs. What would a nurturing caregiver say to you right now? What would they encourage you to do? Then there's also mode work. You recognize when you are in so called demanding parent mode, when you're driving yourself harshly, or detached protector mode, numbing to avoid feeling. Then consciously shift to healthy adult mode where you can acknowledge your needs and make balanced decisions and just stop. Mindfulness based stress reduction offers us practices that help us to be here and now, aware without judgment, like body scan practice. You can lie down and systematically bring attention to each part of your body, noticing sensations without trying to change them. This practice helps you to reconnect with physical sensations you've been ignoring while focused on everyone else's needs. Start with your feet. Notice temperature, tingling, pressure, tension, maybe numbness. Move slowly up through legs, hips, torso, hands, arms, shoulders, neck, face. The goal is not relaxation, it may happen, but it's your awareness. Then mindful breathing. Bring attention to your breath. Notice where you feel it most clearly, your nose, chest, your belly. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently return attention to the breath. You're training your attention muscle and learning that you can redirect focus from worries and obligations to present moment experience. You can choose one routine activity each day to do with full attention. Then there is RAIN practice for difficult emotions. R is recognize. Name what you're feeling. I am feeling overwhelmed, for instance. Allow. Let the feeling be present without trying to fix it or change it. I investigate. Get curious about where you feel it in your body and what this feeling needs from you. And nurture. Offer yourself compassion. Tell yourself, this is so hard. Anyone would feel this way. You're doing the best you can. I love you. So, the most effective approach combines elements that are working for you. And there are many other skills and techniques that you can use. The most important thing is to notice depletion early. Pause, name your energy number, use paced breathing, ask what you value most right now, take opposite action, do something that makes you feel more energized. When you're approaching zero, use tip skills immediately. Remove yourself from the demands, even briefly, and diffuse harsh thoughts. Meet your need like you would meet a child's need. Be as gentle to yourself as possible. No one will ever truly know what you're going through. And that is why no one can give you as much care and compassion as you can give yourself. Energy depletion and emotional labor, burnout, are not just personal problems. They are embedded in cultural and economic systems that demand unsustainable output from women. The modern economy requires enormous emotional and cognitive labor, and it's unrecognized and often uncompensated because we, women, are expected to work full time in jobs that often require extensive emotional labor, manage most domestic emotional labor as well, be endlessly available via technology, maintain appearance relationships, households, never appear unable to handle it all. It's not sustainable. And it's not your fault that you're exhausted. Everyone is. And the challenge is holding two truths simultaneously. Yes, the system is broken and it needs systemic change. And yes, you still need to survive and function within this system right now. So, energy mapping and these coping practices are tools for navigating that exceptionally imperfect reality while maintaining your humanity. At least you can help yourself to stop internalizing cultural problem. Real self-regulation is not pushing through. No, it's not powering past your limits. It's not proving how much you can handle, like Louisa from Encanto. Real self-regulation is saying, I still have energy, but I'm going to stop anyway because I don't want to get to zero. And that choice first feels unfamiliar and maybe even scary because it goes against everything maybe that you've been taught. But it's the difference between living sustainably and living in cycles of depletion and emergency recovery. Research on professionals in high stress fields shows that those who maintain high performance without burning out do not have better willpower. They have better boundaries around their capacity. They've learned to stop before they hit zero. And here's the paradox that changes everything. When you stop driving yourself to zero, the urge to numb often disappears on its own. And it is not because you develop better willpower, but because your nervous system is no longer desperate. Research on natural recovery from addictive patterns found that the most common factor was change in life circumstances that reduced chronic stress and increased daily life satisfaction. When the underlying nervous system crisis resolves, the desperate need for numbing is also being resolved with it. Once you learn when is the right time to stop, many things you've been fighting will quietly go away. And if you made it this far in this video, you're likely someone who's been pushing past your limits for a long time. You've probably been called capable or strong or responsible or reliable and praised for how much you can handle. Probably people were saying, "Oh my God, I don't know how you're doing it all." But underneath all that capability, you might be running on empty. And you might have been reaching for substances, behaviors, different numbing strategies to get through the day and then feeling ashamed or guilty about needing those things. So, what I want you to hear clearly, the path forward is not about becoming stronger or more disciplined. You don't need that. You're strong enough. It's more about becoming more honest about what you need, more accurate in reading your own signals, and more willing to stop before you are empty. Stop before you hit zero. Start with energy mapping, track your number daily for 1 week, notice when depletion appears, hit yourself just once before you hit zero. Practice one of the regulation skills when you need it. You just have to start paying more attention to the data that your body has been sending you for years. You've been doing too much for too long with too little recognition or support. And I'll be talking about other tools that can help you to feel better. We all need to unlearn these lifelong patterns of self sacrifice and honor our limits. And it takes practice, but it is possible. And it starts with the radical act of believing that your capacity matters, that your needs are legitimate, and that you deserve to stop before you're empty. You deserve to live, not just endure. If you found this helpful, please share it with other women who might need to hear this message. And remember, recognizing that you're depleted is not the problem. It's your solution. And if you learned how to stop, or if you learned how to not hit zero, please share in comments. I think we can all benefit from what other people learned and achieved in that area. Take care.